In today's show, learning from one of the best in the business.
He caught up with me for lunch early on and just sort of talked me through what he does and how he goes about it.
How the draftees have adapted to life as professional footballers. And we're on the training track during the preparation for round 2. Hi everyone and welcome to the Optus Crows Show. I'm Mark Bickley. Crows defender Fischer McAsey experienced a dream start to his playing career when he was selected to play in his first AFL game back in round 1. The 19-year-old is certainly impressed at West Lakes and he's thriving under the mentorship of Crows veteran Daniel Talia. We caught up with the young gun to see what it's like to learn from one of the best key defenders in the game.
Tals has been an amazing on-field leader for me, just the way he goes about things. He caught up with me for lunch early on and just sort of talked me through what he does and how he goes about it. As far as his preparation, he's one of the most diligent players at the club as far as how he prepares, so that's rubbed off on me a little bit, and just having someone that you can work hard with on the track and sort of shadow a little bit has been awesome for me.
I've really enjoyed working with him over the last 6 months. He's the most mature 18-year-old I've ever seen come into a system, and the thing that sets Fischer apart from other young guys is just his ability to learn so quickly and ask a lot of questions. Often young guys come in pretty timid and they take a while to find their feet, but Fischer's been really at me, wanting to improve every day, every session, watching clips, coming to me after training to do extras, so he's been unbelievable over the pre-season.
Very similar in the way they play their footy and the way they go about it, like, real thinkers through the game, good football intelligence. You often see them sitting together just talking through it, sliding magnets around. So we've pretty much got an extra coach there in Tals that's been able to work on some of his craft. Just a bonus for us.
Just following footy growing up, you look up to players like Tals. They're really good players, so it was a bit of a surreal moment for him to present me with my round 1 jersey, and something I'll never forget.
We're so proud of you, the way you've gone about it. We can't wait to play with you. When you represent your family, your mates, the state, this great club, every time you put the jumper on, you sort of feel that when you put it on. Here's the jumper, mate, and I'm so proud of you, so well done, mate.
Even though there wasn't any crowd, it was still an awesome experience. And I really sort of wanted to win. I felt that real camaraderie with the boys, even if there wasn't any crowd. So still felt that connection with all the boys, that sort of familiar game feeling. So I still really enjoyed it. And even though we didn't win, it was still a good experience.
It's really been enjoyable for me to teach young fish, just about body work and the little things that reminded me of when I was young as a junior. Trying to learn off truck, the exact same situation. So it's taken me back, 10 years, and I put myself in his shoes and really enjoy working with him and trying to improve his game. If he can, have played 200 games in 10 years, my job's done, I suppose. So it's been really enjoyable and brought some enthusiasm to my game as well. So I've really enjoyed working with Fish.
The Crows will resume their 2020 season on Saturday when they meet their crosstown rivals in Showdown 48. Thanks to the club's major partner Toyota, let's take a look back at one of Adelaide's most memorable showdown wins in 2017. The Crows claimed a huge 84-point victory against the Power as they stormed towards a spot in the grand final.
Charlie Cameron, part of the seas, went between the two of them. He overcooked his kick to Tex. He's still good enough. Tex, a miracle mark.
And it's electric in the stadium, regardless whether it's home or away. You just notice that extra 20% on the crowd.
Talia half smothered, rolls its way through legs. Eddie Betts was lurking. Tex somehow, captain, big moment.
But I remember that we were flying, had a great month of football coming into finals. We had Port, but then I think the weeks after we versed Essendon and Brisbane as well, who were on the bottom and second last, I think, at that stage. So we had a big focus that month to, regardless of the opponents that we were playing, that we needed to play the footy that would hold us in good stead towards finals, and we did do that.
To the pocket. Jenkins pushed to the market contest. Eddie, look out. No. Eddie, the unbelievable. Josh Jenkins, there is no one ahead of him. He could have had a sandwich. Keeps it Charlie. Great kick from Lever. Eddie Betts in the pocket. Charlie wants him. Charlie gets him.
I think it was underestimated the role that also Gov and Charlie played in that as well. So they were doing their thing, which enabled those three older fellas to go to work and put some score on the scoreboard.
Brad Crouch. No one's in the square. He goes for home. It'll slide, slip, bounce. Kaboom!
There's nothing better in football than coming together as that collective team, coaches, staff after a game, and we're all week we've set out to accomplish something, and when you accomplish that on game day and get the chockies, it's a great feeling straight after the game.
More to come on the show after the break. We find out how this season has tested the club's first-year players.
I think the first thing I noticed when I got here is that all the boys were so welcoming.
Welcome back. I'm Alana Smith. Well, South Australians have embraced the Adelaide Football Club since they were first granted their AFL licence back in 1990. The organisation had just 5 months to build a professional AFL team, and that included choosing the name and colours that are now a famous part of the state's sporting landscape. We reached into the Optus Crows Show vault to take a look at the early days at West Lakes, with thanks to Bendigo Bank.
AFC squad member Simon Tregenza took the first historic steps on Football Park in the new gear. The club settled on red, gold and navy blue from dozens of different designs.
Well, the original design took some time, and when I say some time, 4 weeks. It was a result of some work done by a couple of our people on our board, mainly Ed Betro, who was in the sporting goods business, and Ed had a lot of contacts and the likes, and Ed and his wife Isla actually came up with the final design, the Hoop Guernsey, which I'm pleased to say has been maintained.
The new Adelaide Football Club jumpers, shorts and socks arrived at Football Park late last week, and the Crows will be the first team to wear the new AFL type short.
The state colours became the obvious choice for the new club. There were several options that we were looking at. There was purples and greens and blues and the likes, trying to create something different and something new, but we always came back to the red, blue and gold, and I think that's sort of stood the test of time. We had sashes and V's and quite a varied range of designs to look at.
I think it's good. I sort of turned up today. First time I saw it, I didn't really know what to expect, but I think it was good. The colours are good and good design. It
would seem now that Crows was just the way to go, but we were looking at options like the Sharks because of the close to the beach. We looked at the Lakers because of West Lakes, but a lot of those names were under copyright.
Strong public support swayed the AFC towards the swooping crow. 2 designs have been struck, the official club logo and the other for merchandising.
We came back to Crow Eaters, which South Australia has been traditionally known as the Crow Eaters, and then we of course finished up with a shortened version of the Crows, and once again I think that's proved to be the right choice.
And the only place you can find all the official Crows news is at afc.com.au. Stay connected with the club via the Crows social media accounts on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And for footy stories you might have missed, head to @TheCrowsShow on Twitter. The coronavirus pandemic has forced clubs to swap their rigid football schedules for a more flexible model, which has largely relied on players training as individuals. This has certainly caused the Crows draftees to experience an unconventional start to their football careers. We caught up with 18-year-old Lachie Gollant to find out what it's like to be a first-year player in such an unusual climate.
The first thing I noticed when I got here is that all the boys were so welcoming, and all the staff have just been really good with all us new boys. So it sort of felt like I was coming to some place that I've already been before. It didn't feel like a new environment. So It was a pretty easy transition, and I've been loving my time here so far. I didn't really spend much time in the gym, as you can tell, before I got here. So first couple of weeks the body was pulling up pretty sore, but I think an advantage of being a young body is that you adapt to things very quickly. So once I got through those first few weeks, I've been pretty good. So the gym work was probably the hardest thing to get used to, but I'm loving it now. It's been a bit of a whirlwind, going back and forth from Adelaide and Melbourne. Obviously we had a few 4-day breaks, so it's been difficult to sort of keep moving and keep moving forward, but as soon as you get here you sort of switch on, and having all the boys and all the coaches around, you become pretty motivated again very quickly, and yeah, you get stuck into things. So once we're here, the work gets done. It was good to get home and spend a bit more time with my family. Got to work on my body a bit more with no games on. I got to spend a bit more time in the gym, which was really useful for me. But yeah, had a little break and now we're back into it, so all the boys are really excited. A few big influences so far have been Matty Wright, the forward development coach. He's looked after me and spent a fair bit of time with me, so he's been really influential and helpful for me. But also Tom Lynch as well, the senior forward player. Him and Tex, they give out great advice, so I just try and take on board as much as I can.
Coming up, we get a unique look at the training track through the eyes of a senior coach.
I couldn't agree more. I'm noticing communication, which to me says you're organised.
It has been another big week of full contact training for the Crows as they prepare to face Port Adelaide in Showdown 48 on Saturday. Today we're taking you down to West Lakes to get a unique look at match simulation thanks to senior coach Matthew Nix.
Oh, that's quick, Smithers. I couldn't agree more. I'm noticing communication, which to me says you're organised. And it's actual instruction. It's not just, it's here, verbalised. So that means you're connected, doesn't it?
Yeah.
.56. Well done, boys. Well done. Work, Cito. It's only a matter of time. Just keep going. Just keep going for them. You've got really good timing and it'll come, mate. Right, so on opportunities, we're waiting. We want the perfect one. It's like, get it and go. Your speed and your work rate often gets you into space, and you've got a lot more space than you think.
There's no doubt the players are just as excited as we are for the return of football. Thanks to Flight Centre, let's fly around social media to see what the boys have been up to this week. It's time to revisit another famous Crows victory, and today we're taking you back to 2006 when the club recorded their highest ever score of 188 points. The match against Essendon took place in front of a home crowd at Football Park. Trent Henschel was instrumental with 8 goals as the Crows celebrated a whopping 138-point win.
McLeod's 250th was also a record-breaking game for the Crows.
They broke the magical 30-goal mark for the first time and kicked their biggest ever score.
Can they get the 30? Here's a chance. McGregor were down at 5 seconds. You bet they can. 30!
You know, I didn't know the siren was going to go, and I think it just snuck through. But you know, when it went through and then it won, and someone later told us, I think it was a record sort of winning margin at that time. Obviously, I had no idea of that, but it was great to be a part of that.
To Bassett, chips at McGregor. Play on quickly. Back to Bassett. He ran straight through the roadblock, and Rashudo's on the end of the pass.
A lot of pressure in every game, and you know, when you play for Adelaide, there's pressure on every game you do. So we obviously never went into a game like that thinking it was going to be easy, but I remember in that period, like we had so many good players. We were a very good team. We had confidence pretty much to play anyone, anywhere. Obviously we never got the ultimate prize, but we had a lot of confidence in beating anyone. It was a really good side to be a part of. We had some really great players, obviously, you know, Andrew McLeod, Tyson Edwards, Simon Goodwood, Mark Rashudo. So we had a fantastic team, and playing forward to those guys, you always knew you were going to get plenty of it. We had some confidence we could beat anyone, anywhere. Unfortunately, things didn't quite go our results and towards the end of the season, but obviously we gave ourselves a chance, and we were pretty confident going into both those seasons, but unfortunately didn't get there.
Adelaide ruthlessly ripped Essendon apart and never let up. Henschel starred during a 10-goal last quarter.
That was one of the nights, I think it was one of his coming out nights, and just we used to call him Trent Potential before that. Then he'd go ahead and kicked 8, and after that we couldn't really call him Potential anymore because he'd just taken that step up and just showed what he really could be.
Let's take the win for what it was. In front of our home crowd of 42,000.
It was absolutely packed. Like when you played footy park, I just remember having everyone behind you, and you know, really gets you going for the night or for the day, for the game. So you know, Adelaide fans are the best in the world. I've always said that, and you know, it was just great to have them on board.
Coming up, find out how Crows fans are preparing for the return of football.
Footy fans are counting down the days until round 2. Thanks to Optus, we've scrolled through social media to see how Crows supporters are celebrating the return of the 2020 AFL season.
This week, parents are preparing their new additions for winter by dressing them in tri-coloured pyjamas. And young Harriet is clearly happy with her new bedtime routine, playing with a toy Sharon while wearing an Adelaide onesie.
Every week on the Optus Crows Show, Coach Matthew Nix answers a question from a fan thanks to Thomas Farms. This week's question is from Joe, who wants to know if Nixie had to pick 2 Crows players to take to Disneyland, who would they be?
If I'm going to Disneyland, am I bringing them back? Because that changes my answer. I reckon I've used him before. I reckon I'd take a Benny Davis to Disneyland because you know he's going to smile and he's going to enjoy himself. And from one of the other players, I might even take a Ned McHenry. You know, a couple of real characters. It'd just be entertaining. I know that.
Well, thanks for joining us. Don't forget to tune in to Channel 7 next Saturday to watch the Crows take on Port Adelaide in Showdown 48. And make sure you stay up to date with all the latest Crows news on afc.com.au and follow the club on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Do enjoy your Sunday. We'll see you next weekend at the new time of 11:30 a.m. on 7. Bye for now.